For initiating and planning, you might work with a small core team. Before you begin executing project work, you bring on the rest of the team and acquire needed equipment and materials. If team members come from within your organization, procurement might be as simple as telling your in-house team, "It's time to start your assignments." For resources outside your organization, the procurement process has a few more steps: solicitation, evaluation, selection, contracting, and ongoing management. These steps can take time, so be sure to leave room in your schedule for performing them. Solicitation often begins with a request for proposal, abbreviated as RFP. It's a typical way to ask vendors for proposals or bids. An RFP describes the services or resources you need, when you need them, and your budget for the work. Include the criteria you plan to use to select a vendor so companies can decide whether or not to bid. Don't forget to include instructions and the deadline for submitting a proposal and the date you'll announce your decision. Once you have all the vendors' proposals or bids, you hunker down and evaluate the responses using your criteria. How you select the winner depends on the size and complexity of the project. Evaluation and selection might be as easy as filling in a spreadsheet with ratings and choosing the vendor with the highest score. For large jobs, you might whittle the submissions down to a short list of vendors and ask each one in the second round to prepare a more detailed presentation or demonstrate what they have to offer. For example, in the scheduling system project, you might ask the top 2 candidates to demonstrate their systems and show how features satisfy project requirements. Contracting is when you prepare and sign a contract for the resources you need. Contracts usually include a statement of work, terms and conditions, deliverables, deadlines, and of course, the price. Contracts fall into several categories. Fixed price contracts work when your project is well defined. This type of contract places the risk on the vendor because the vendor is paid a fixed amount no matter how much time the work takes or how much it costs. Time and materials contracts pay for time worked and expenses incurred. The project accepts most of the risk, so it's common to include a not-to-exceed value to limit the price. A cost-plus contract is like time and materials with the addition of penalties or rewards based on the vendor's performance. With a retainer, you agree to pay for a specified amount of time and define the work as you go. Complete procurement steps early enough so the resources you need are available when work begins. For example, if your project requires materials with long lead times, you'll need to start procurement early. After you award contracts, you don't sit back and relax. While project work is underway, you manage those contracts, monitor the vendor performance, and manage any changes. For practice, think about which type of contract you would use for the scheduling system and why.